Hello.
Hey, Jack. What's
What's
that?
cooking?
Not much. How you doing, man?
Good. How's it going?
Real good. Real good.
You are Scott.
I am.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. We got Shark checking in.
Shark
Yeah.
is here.
Hey,
Shark Samuels.
what's going on, man?
How's it going?
Real good. Real good.
Excellent.
And we got Alfonse on the way.
He is on the way.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I see you guys dropped another video today.
We did a little more, another little lyric video. So we're dropping little bits, a little trail of the album release.
It's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, man. Hearing those first two singles, I just come on, release that whole thing, man. I want to hear it.
It's coming up.
Great stuff.
March 5th. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yes.
very cool. Well,
Yeah, music videos are easy for us to do. Actual performance videos, given the circumstances of planet Earth right now, are not as easy.
no doubt. No
And
doubt.
touring is very complicated to do. So,
Yeah, unfortunately.
we're doing the best we can with what we have dealt right now.
Yeah.
And but once the world gets back to normal,
Yeah.
we are planning on being out there and everywhere and at a town near you.
That's so cool. Yeah, I can't wait till it gets back to normal. Alfonse, are you there?
I'm here.
Hey,
With his new portrait. I like it.
it's beautiful, man.
That's Mr. Happy. You remember Mr. Happy?
Yeah, he's been gone for a little while, but yeah. Coming back slowly.
He took a break.
No doubt. No doubt. Well, everyone, I got fastest land animal here. I got Screamin Jack Novak, I got Shark Samuels, and I got Alfonse Castillo. Welcome, guys.
Thanks for having
man.
us.
How's it going?
Yeah, really good, really good. Love what you're doing. Love these singles are slowly but surely coming out. Man, it's exciting to get this full self-titled album, which drops March 5th. And like I was saying before, 14 is the latest video to drop, a lyric video. You can see it on the YouTube page or the Facebook page, and all of these singles, just really sharp stuff.
Thanks. I
man.
mean, we went into the album. We wanted to, the expression "all killer, no filler." I know it sounds cheesy and all, but using the Ramones' first album as a springboard. That's the album's maybe a half hour long. All the songs are fast. All the songs are short, and of course the Ramones had nothing but hooks. So we kind of wanted to have, with that in mind, that's how we approach this album. Everything fast, everything, nothing too long. And if the whole album's a half hour, that's fine. We're cool with that.
Yeah, that's cool. One of my favorite albums of all time, which is hanging right behind me, the first Montrose album, 35 minutes, I think. Lives with me forever, man.
That's we're talking Sammy Hagar now, right?
Yeah. 1973 or 4. It's way ahead of its time, and but shortened to the point. And I wanted to ask you about that. All of these songs that I've heard so far, are around 3 minutes in length. You're going to be sticking to that quick hit formula throughout the album, right?
Yeah, I don't think there's a song that's even 4 minutes. Maybe there's one that's around 4 minutes long, but most of them are in the three and change range.
Yeah.
We could do the math. There's 9 songs on the album. The album's about a half hour. So
yeah.
There you go.
Very cool. Very cool. I have to talk about the videos. And I read the press release. It's a great press release. One of the best ones I've ever seen.
Thanks, guys.
Too Close to the Fire. You got sock puppet usage there. I myself love sock puppets. You got some great ones too with Flying V, I think it is, and everything else. Tell me again why the use of the sock puppets and the story behind that.
Well, it's funny because our publicist hates sock puppets and hates sock puppet videos. So we had this idea. We had recorded the album. We recorded the album remotely. We all have little studios in our homes where we've been quarantined for, oh God, almost a year now. So we had access to record remotely, but put it all together and kind of listen into it over Zoom. And there's an app program called Audio Movers that we used to record and listen in on what everyone else was doing. We worked with our a producer, Don Gilmore, who he did, you may know him from, I guess his most famous work was the first couple of Linkin Park records, but he's worked with countless other bands. And we, so that was how we recorded the album. The process was pretty easy for us. It was not usual. We were used to getting into a studio and recording with each other, looking each other in the face and working things out that way. But it still worked out pretty well. I don't know. What do you guys like the process?
In a weird way, it was almost better.
Yeah, in a lot of ways. We actually hate each other. So no, it is better because we had the leeway to, take our time. And if one of us wanted to go back and recut drums just because we had an idea later after we're all off our Zoom, we can go recut drums and make it better. And it really
definitely saved a lot of personal time. Like instead of, normally I'd be sitting in the studio and let's say Shark would be cutting drums. I'd be sitting, basically, doing nothing, waiting for him to finish his drum track. And then I have to listen to every little thing. And, can be a tedious, laborious process. Mm-hmm. This way, we said, Shark, try it this way. And he said, okay. And a day or two later, he'd come back with the drum tracks and we'd say, yeah, that's good, but maybe change this part here. Okay. And then, we'd all go off to our little lives, come back a day later and he'd have it done. Great. Let's move on to bass. So, and plus you don't have to travel or commute or go anywhere. We're doing this from our home studios. Yeah. So, or bedrooms or garages or whatever the case may be.
Which kind of ties back your question there on why sock puppets and
right. Well, that's where I was burying the lead. But so when it came time to do the first video for the first single, we were scratching our heads, how are we going to do a video if we can't all get together? So I had this brilliant idea. There was this show back in the 90s. I don't know if you remember, it was on MTV called Syphil and Ollie. And it was basically like, very ironic, wry, funny, it was an adult show. But the stars were Syphil and Ollie, two sock puppets. And they just said a whole bunch of like ironic, funny stuff. And occasionally they'd like break into song and play instruments. And I was like, I want that guy. So we literally called everyone we knew, like looked everywhere, and we could not find the guy who directed and wrote Syphil and Ollie. So I said, oh, all right, screw it. Let's just do sock puppet video on our own, So that was the inspiration with Syphil and Ollie. But then we did our own sock puppet video. And the idea being, we certainly don't have to all be in the same studio or room together to shoot a sock puppet video, because the sock puppets can be loosely based on us, but it could be anyone's hands under there and we don't have to be in the room. So I don't know, do we want to tell them the secret of whose hands those are in those socks?
Ooh, well, it's at least two of my hands, but I needed 3 puppets, so I had to improvise.
Heyo.
Yeah,
we'll leave it at that.
All right. Now, in your other video, Answer in My Head, you got TVs on your heads. Now, I mean, word on the street is, Shark was like an ex Playgirl centerfold or something. I hear he's pretty hot, that's what the girls tell me. So, are we ever going to see you guys in a video?
The next video we're actually we want to appease those females out there. So we're going to perform naked, but we'll have sock puppets on our heads.
Oh, on your head. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I remember the Chili Peppers doing something with socks.
Yeah, with socks on there, but it wasn't on their heads.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Well, Shark Samuels is a very skilled manscaper, so the video will be tasteful. Let's just say it. Plus, he's sitting behind a drum kit. You can't see anything anyway.
Yeah. He probably doesn't have pants on right now. But
definitely not.
Drummers never wear pants,
especially not on Zoom. Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding. It's the beauty of Zoom. It's our world as we know it now.
Yeah. Never get up during a Zoom. That is the rule.
It's funny. Speaking of Zoom, I was watching this news show the other day, and this very respected journalist was talking, and like something happened in his computer, and he looked, he's wearing a suit and tie and looks very respectful. He's a very serious man. And something happened, like his cat ran over, or like his computer fell on the ground. And immediately I was panicking. I'm like, uh-oh, this guy's definitely in his skivvies. As it turned out, he had the full suit on, dress shoes, tied and polished, dress socks, the whole thing. Like he was not joking around. So he did not get busted.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, Zoom, you never know.
Right.
Now, with this album, who does the bulk of the writing? You guys all write together?
Well, yeah. I mean, I come up with the ideas. I'll sit in my studio and write a bunch of demos with just me playing everything. Then I'll bring it to the group and we'll woodshed it and workshop it and come up with ideas and turn them into the songs that you hear today.
Yeah, awesome. Now you mentioned these studios and stuff, and in the press release it says that you guys live in the basement of the Sunset Marquee Hotel. Now that might sound a little grungy and nasty, but I hear the acoustics are great down there.
It's actually quite a nice studio in the basement of the Sunset Marquee.
Yeah, it is great, and that's of course where we cut our bones. Yeah. It's called Nightbird Studios is the name of the studio.
Yes, it is.
And it's it's a really lovely studio, and it is literally in the basement of the Sunset Marquee Hotel, right next to the parking garage. And there's an interesting story. I think you'd appreciate this, Scott, of why it's there. So back in I guess it was the early 90s, Jeff Beck, the Sunset Marquee, for those who don't know, is known as being a rock musician's hotel. That's where since the 60s or whenever it opened, rock stars seem to have gravitated to that hotel. It's in a nice secluded area, but it's right off of the Sunset Strip. So it's very convenient if you're playing gigs at the Whiskey or you live in the Hollywood Hills or West Hollywood in that area. So that's where the rock stars all go to party. So back in I guess it was the early 90s, Jeff Beck was staying there quite a lot. And he would be jamming loudly in the middle of the night, like 2, 3 a.m., waking up all the other hotel guests, to the point where even though he's Jeff Beck, the management had to say, listen, Mr. Beck, we can't have you blasting guitar, at all hours of the night. But right where we have a laundry room downstairs, and it's pretty closed off, and it's nice and big, and you can jam as loud as you want. No one's going to hear you all night long. And that was the genesis of Nightbird Studios. And then they built a studio around that.
Genesis was there?
Genesis was there, yes. But it was the Peter Gabriel version of Genesis.
Yes. Is there another one?
What's that?
Did they have another singer?
Is there another version of Genesis?
I don't think so.
Wasn't it? I think John Anderson was their second singer, right?
I don't know. Peter Gabriel Genesis. That's the only thing there is, right?
Right. That's right.
I hear those first two singles, "Too Close to the Fire" and "Answer 'Em." That's a great story, by the way. This is, that studio is there because of Jeff Beck. How cool is that?
Yeah.
But I hear a bit of a '60s psychedelic dance party kind of thing meets indie pop. And that keyboard section, especially in "Too Close to the Fire."
Thank you.
Who's playing keyboard?
That would be me.
Yeah.
Screaming. Yours truly, Screamin Jack Novak.
Awesome.
That was actually played. I'm a bit of a keyboard guy. It's I love collecting old keyboards. That's my main, I play guitar and I play harmonica, blues harp, but my main thing is keyboards. So or the thing I can, as they say, blow the best on is keyboards. I've got some decent chops as far as that's concerned. So I have a collection of old, like I have a vintage Hammond B3. I've got a whole bunch of old analog synths. I have an actual real Mellotron with tape, the actual tape in it.
Wow.
And then among my keyboards, I have a vintage, it's in pristine condition, Whirly electric piano. So that's exactly what I played on that track. That's an actual Whirly. It's not like a fake patch or like a soft synth or anything like that. It's an actual real old Whirly.
Man, that's cool, and you can hear it. I mean,
thanks.
It's got a really cool vibe to it.
I mean, the idea was
there.
What's that?
I was going to say, you should have been there, Scott, when we tried to get that B3 down those stairs of the Sunset Marquee. It's rough.
Oh,
so we kind of just we just let it slide slow, and
we
need to hire 3 other bands to help us get that thing down the steps.
Yeah, 4-piece bands.
But the idea was, it was by design. I wanted to make a record that had that sort of I don't know if Little Steven's Underground Garage.
Yeah.
Like that kind of vibe to it. Something that would resonate, as a garagey 60s punky with a little like 3% psychedelia in there.
Yeah, and it does. It does. It kind of reminds me a little bit of like a Foxy Shazam. You ever hear them? Yeah. So it's got that little bit of a little nostalgia to it, but it's quirky and poppy and hooky at the same time. Really cool, man.
Thanks, man.
And that musical direction is throughout the album, yeah.
Yeah, that's the vibe of the album. We don't really deviate too much from that. I mean, the songs all sound different, obviously, but I think any one of those songs, if you like what you've heard so far, I think you'll like the whole album.
Yeah, cool. How about record labels? Are you guys releasing this independently, or who's this going through?
We are releasing it on our label, but through who's distributing it?
Sure. So in Grooves is doing all kind of like the digital distribution, and we have a partner called Label Logic out of LA, and they're good record industry vets, so they're real good partners for this.
Cool. Are we gonna see vinyl? The whole
hell yeah.
Of course we are, right?
Vinyl.
That's part of the whole. When you're talking Fastest Land Animal, you're talking vinyl.
Yeah.
I'm not going to record with a vintage Whirly and not put that thing out on analog.
Right. Yeah, it's going to have a whole other level when we listen to it on vinyl, for sure.
And we're even going to have some fun with cassettes because, why not?
Wow. Yeah, man.
Yeah. Fastest Land Animal mixtape.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah. All right. And speaking of that, I have to ask you about Bubble Candy. It didn't really, you got like a 20-second bit of it that I've seen with somebody by the name of Bip Frisco. Tell me a little bit about Bip Frisco.
We don't even talk to Bip anymore. That was, it ended really ugly with him.
Total jerk. But
yeah,
what
we
do you
found
do?
him. He was basically an outlaw. Like, the kind of guy walks through the doors, you hear the whistling,
Right.
and he's the man in black. He's from the West. I think he lives in West Texas somewhere. And we had some issues with him over. Well, it was a woman, basically. Well, it was his mom. Shark was dating his mom, and Bip didn't know about it, and it all went downhill from there.
And Shark, man, I hear the word on the street. I'm telling you, you're something else with the ladies.
Yeah, I really thought, Jack, that we weren't going to mention these things, but
well, in all fairness to Shark,
I mean,
he thought it was his sister. Didn't realize it was his mom because she's that hot. But yeah, turned out it was his mom, and he didn't take it so well, and he rode off into the sunset.
well, at least we got his tracks down before.
Now there's
before
a
that happened.
illegitimate Frisco kid.
There you go.
There it is.
Yeah, that was beautiful, man. So you did get his tracks before he left, and from that 20-second clip, it sounds pretty cool. It sounds a little bit of a different vibe. What's up with Bubble Candy?
Yeah, well, I basically back when we were hanging out, this is actually pre-pandemic, and Bip was one of the first people I talked to about Fastest Land Animal coming out with their debut album. And he said, "What's the deal with Fastest Land Animal?" I said, "Like Fight Club, there's 2 rules to Fastest Land Animal. The first rule is no songs slower than 150 beats per minute." And I said, "The second rule, no songs slower than 150 beats per minute." So he said, "That's easy." And then we wrote the song in an hour. It was that easy. So that was one of the first songs written for the album. And yeah, I mean, it's I guess it's the bluesiest of the songs on the album, but it still fits in, it's still got that I think that 60s underground garage organ, psychedelic organ vibe to it.
And we only gave you about 20 seconds of it, so
Yeah,
I think you'll be pleased on the 5th. That's it's going to be one of our featured tracks when we put the record out.
yeah, cool. And yeah, I mean, it sounds great just from the 20 seconds. And I want to go back to the keyboards a little. Are we gonna see, now the first few singles don't have a lot of keyboard other than that little bit in Too Close to the Fire. Are we gonna hear that Hammond? Are we gonna hear a little more keyboards?
There's a little bit of organ on the on Bubble Candy. It's more of a Farfisa organ sound. I don't believe the Hammond made it to the album. When we were recording, it wasn't I wasn't thinking, okay, I gotta make sure we get this particular instrument on the album. I gotta make sure I play all my keyboards, everyone on the album, because that wasn't, I wanted the instrumentation to service the songs. So there is quite a bit of analog synth on the album, but I think we used it in a tasteful way. We didn't, I'm not Keith Emerson doing, big long keyboard solos. It's more of a layering thing. If you listen, you hear like some nice fat sounding Moog sounds or some Jupiter synth sounds in there, just to kind of give it a little bit of a texture and a little bit of a sheen without being too shiny.
And to be clear, it was the Sock who performed the bridge of Too Close to the Fire on the actual recording.
Well, you can see that in the video.
Yeah, that's actual footage of that tape.
Although that Sock, it looks suspiciously like he's playing a Nord. Doesn't really look like a whirly to me.
It's agree to disagree. It's okay.
What's cool about the sock is he can do what I don't do. He plays with the keyboards with his nose. I actually use my fingers.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried it?
I may have passed out on top of a keyboard. My nose hit a key, but that wasn't deliberate.
The next album, maybe.
Yeah.
In that video for Too Close to the Fire, I see the interlocking circles of the John Bonham symbol on that bass drum. Talk about some of the influences of you guys. Obviously, Zeppelin is an influence on Shark, at least, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, I'm glad you caught that. You know, it's not easy finding miniature drum sets out there these days, and to find one of everyone's rock drumming hero is pretty incredible. So definitely Bonham is, as he should be, a large rock drummer's influence.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to argue that Bonham isn't the greatest rock drummer of all time. I mean, you know, people have their opinions. You could say other people, but I mean, for God's sake, man, Bonham. I mean, I'm not a drummer, Shark is, but is Bonham? If anyone says Bonham's the greatest rock drummer of all time, you're not arguing with them, right?
Right.
No, this is fact, and
Okay.
there's no better feel out there for rock drumming.
Oh,
Yeah, and you know, that is the consensus of everybody who's listened to rock music, pretty much. You might make the argument for Keith Moon or something like that, who I love also. But
I mean, Keith Moon's a personal favorite of mine. I just love him, and I feel the spirit of like he's exactly what a rock and roll drummer should be, and he kind of invented that whole rock and roll drummer thing.
Yeah.
Like back when he came out, there was the only drummers that anyone could even talk about who, unless you were like really deep into music, was Keith Moon, Ringo Starr, and I guess Ginger Baker.
mm-hmm.
But Keith Moon, his personality just shone through on everything he did. Plus, he was just a wild man. I mean,
yeah, he was all energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and the diversity of the Who music, how it changed, you know, from that simple kind of a pop band, English pop band in the early days to something a little more textured and slightly progressive in its growth with the Who.
absolutely.
And he played it at all just so well. You know.
Yeah, I mean, they went from like a mod R&B sort of band doing James Brown covers to doing, you know, as early as like 4 years later, they were doing Tommy, which had like 12-minute long instrumentals with huge drum parts in it. So
yeah, and
they're undoubtedly, you know, that's the genius of Pete Townsend for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. So are those the influences for all you guys? That those classic rock giants, you know, or you know, does it go all the way around the horn, or you know, what do you guys draw from?
Yeah, I mean, by and large, that's ground zero of those classic rock bands and influences. I think they influenced everyone who followed them. But you know, ground zero for the kind of music we're playing has got to be the Ramones' first record. And then I really have a lot of respect, and there's a lot of influence on me personally from Buzzcocks. Just I felt like they took that punk thing, that wiry, fast punk thing, and they really had these. They sounded simple, but they were deceptively clever and complicated melodies, but really hooky. They kind of were game changers for me. And then if you keep going, following that path, you get to bands like Husker Du, who
Bad Brains for me.
Oh, Bad Brains for sure.
The Clash, totally. And even all the way through like the Bad Religion for me.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, and then I think a lot of that comes through in this music.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's got that angst, but hook laden. You know, I mean, it's really, you know, it's catchy stuff, man, no doubt.
Thank you.
You know, I notice a lyric in Answer in My Head. When I'm lying in the street, I'll see you in the stars. And you know, I can't help but think of the Walk of Fame. Is that the intention behind that line?
Well, we all spent a good portion of our lives lying on the street, and that street was in large part both Sunset and Hollywood Boulevards.
Yep.
So luckily the weather's pretty nice there year round. So if you're lying in the street, I guess I'd rather be lying in the street there than in, say, Chicago.
And that's where I am
in
right
February.
now. Yeah, that's where I am right now. I'm sitting in that place right now, and you do not want to be on the floor.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Chicago is a beautiful town. I love it. Have lots of friends there, but you do not want to spend an inordinate amount of time outdoors in the middle of winter in Chicago.
No, you don't. Although it can be fun.
You just got to bundle up and layer.
What's your pizza joint in Chicago there, huh?
Yeah, man. Both, you name it, we got it. It's all about the pizza here, man.
Well, what's the place? What's the go-to?
The Lou Malnati's. You got to go Lou Malnati. Yeah.
Classic, I guess. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Gino's, there's Gino's East. There's so many here. You can get all kinds of different stuff too.
Do you know he's a little outside of town? He's a little west Chicago. I can't remember the name of the town, but it's like it's like a half hour outside of town. But do you know Josh's Hot Dogs?
Ooh. No, I don't know exactly. It sounds familiar though.
Check it out. Google Josh's Hot Dogs.
Okay, cool.
It's mostly a takeaway place, so they're probably open, although I don't know for sure. But that's my personal favorite hot dog place.
Awesome.
In Chicago.
That's something, man. Because I've traveled around. I've been around. And there's no hot dog joints, man. Do you have hot dog joints like in LA? I mean, is that a thing?
Well, there's Pink's. That's a famous one.
Okay.
They closed Tail of the Pup a while ago, which was too bad. That was a cool looking place. Okay. But yeah, I guess like the most classic, like what you would think a hot dog is, especially coming from Chicago, which is a hot dog town, would be Pink's.
Yeah. I mean, we got one on every corner, man. I mean, and a bar.
I mean, that's part of your whole deal in Chicago. Is the hot dog.
Yeah, man. Blues and hot dogs. Is there anything else? I mean, come
on. No, I mean, if that's all there was, I'd be happy.
Yeah, man. Hell yeah. Well, I know you guys got your own lives to go to, and you got other things to be doing. I can let you go. I want you guys to come by though. When all this gets to normal, man, come to Chicago. We'll do dogs or something, or pizza.
As soon as it is safe, we will be there,
man. Definitely.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Yeah. Well, I thank you guys, man. Thanks for taking the time. I look forward to the album March 5th. Self-titled album drops. Fastest Land Animal, man. Thanks
a lot, Scott. Man. We appreciate it.
Thanks, dude. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
All right, we'll see you. Thanks.
All right, later.
Bye.